Welcome to the Macro with Forrest tonight. I'm your host, Forrest. This is a self-podcast focused on long-term investing. This is something I'm super passionate about. If you go way back in time to the origins of this channel, it was actually focused on long-term investing. And then through my own personal journey, I started day trading, made hundreds of thousands of dollars, and just kept doing that. But I do think it's important, especially with the macro environment as it is right now. There's a ton of uncertainty. Everyone that I talk to in real life, isn't necessarily trying to be a day trader, but everybody cares about personal finance and investing, right? Whether it's just being able to live, right? This is something I'm super passionate about. I'm kind of a mixed bag in terms of like my beliefs and politics and all of that. I completely understand that capitalism is a great way to lift yourself up, but I also understand that a lot of the inequity that we have in society and today is because of that exact same thing. So what can I do about it? Instead of sitting around and waiting, it's one of my passions and personal beliefs is, one of the best ways to actually help people instead of just talking about it is going out to people in your community and giving them a hand, right? If you see somebody who needs literal help, go and help that person. Something that I can do with my small YouTube channel is give people the tools to start investing for themselves. Having money in the bank, you're essentially purchasing security. All money is intended to be spent, whether it's now or later. And so, an emergency comes up, you've got 10K in the bank, cool. You're not sweating it, right? You're not opening up more credit cards. You're not having to sell your car. You're having to not buy your kids Christmas gifts, right? These are all things that impact people in a really powerful way. And so I want to give you guys the simple tools to start with an account, whether it's doing 25 bucks a month, 25 bucks a week, 50 bucks a month, whatever it is. In this case, I'm going to do $250 every week, right, in a new account. If you're asking why it's that amount, it's because I already invest money. So this is like an additional amount that I do. I'm very blessed to be in the position that I'm in, but I'm going to do this account from scratch. I'm going to do it in a Robinhood account. Before you crucify me for using Robinhood, I think it's fine. Doesn't really matter. If we get to close to like $250,000, Jesus, as I do this every week, then I'll think about moving the money. I think Robinhood, the app, is actually fine. The engineers and designers who create the app, shout out to them. It's one of the best apps I've ever used. Robinhood, the company, and the brokerage is a separate thing. I've criticized them heavily in the past. I don't think it matters for the sake of this video. I think what matters most for the sake of this video and this series and this podcast, where we do long-term investing and I talk about the macroeconomic environment and how that might impact your investment choices, whether it's in equities or whatever. I think accessibility is the most important factor. So I'll be using Robinhood, and I'll also talk about some of the other apps that are out there like M1 Finance, other things like that, which I haven't explored at all recently because I've just been only focused on day trading, and all my long-term investments is just like, it's so hands-off. I put money in, I literally don't care how it performs. And that's what I want you to get to too. I want you guys to get to the point where like your account's down 20%, who cares? It's a buying opportunity, right? So we're gonna talk about all of those things, general philosophy in this series. Not going to do it now because it's nighttime and I have to fund the account and I want to record them live, like doing the investments live for you. So this is just an intro series, but there is one thing that if you're watching this video that I want you to do, because I want everybody who watches this series to follow along. I need some water. Hold up. I have tea. So I want everyone who watches this series to follow along. And it doesn't matter what episode you start on. So if you're just seeing this now and you're like, dang, I missed it, it's fine. Okay, it's fine. Follow along. I'm going to show you some math. It's not going to be scary, but this math is the power of compound interest. It's the power of time. It's that power, that thing that they don't share with us in school, that we don't really learn about, that allows people to accumulate wealth over time. So please follow along. I'm going to be pushing this in all my day trading videos, getting people to come here. I think this is a core foundational component. It's very different from entrepreneurial endeavors where you're trying to create money and revenue, right? This is basically like you have some money. What can I do with it to put it to work? So the first thing I want you to do, get out a pencil, and I want you to ask yourself, I want you to write this down. How much money can I afford to lose right now without being completely financially ruined? That's the first question. Is it $1,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, $100,000, $500,000? Everybody has different problems at different sizes. The second question I want you to ask yourself is, how important is security to you? And I want you to really write down what security means to you. What does it mean to be secure? Is security the ability to get things, or is security really the bravery to walk into any circumstance knowing that you've got your own back? Whatever it is. So what's the most amount of money you can lose? What does security look like to you? And I want you to put a number next to security, right? Because we're talking about finances here. We can get real deep with this, but we're going to go up with the finances, right? Do you need $50,000, $100,000, whatever it is? Okay, what does security look like to you? Then the third question is how patient are you? I want you to write down how patient you are right now, and we're going to segue right into the math. Math time. Okay, so we're here at investor.gov, and you can get here. We're on the compound interest calculator page under the financial tools and calculators, compound interest calculator. So go to investor.gov, financial tools and calculators, compound interest calculator. It'll bring you right here. And I'm going to show you guys, but this series, this podcast that I'm doing, again, and I'm not just going to invest. I'm actually going to talk about, because I'm going to be picking stocks in this, right? I'm not just going to be doing it fun, and we're going to have fun with it. Every week, I'm going to choose different stocks. You guys could tell me stocks to look at. Okay, I'll analyze it. It's going to be an interactive thing to start. It's going to be pretty bland because I'm starting from zero with this series, right? But over time, you guys give me things to look at, analyze it, talk about it. It'll be fun. An important component of this, though, is time, right? Compound interest. The immediate pushback that I get from most people when they start investing is, I don't want to wait that long. Well, whether you're patient or not, you have to be, right? Whether you can wait or not, you will, okay? It's like trying to graduate faster in high school. You know, it's 4 years, trying to graduate faster in college. And maybe that's not the best example because some people do graduate faster. You could take a test. You can't test out of this. Another thing to think about is you can't speed up time. You know, today we don't have time machines. So whether you're patient or not, that time will pass. It's guaranteed to pass, okay? It's guaranteed to pass. And just think about all the things you could have accomplished if you spent the last 4 or 5 years, okay, just investing. So we're going to start with a very small amount of time, and then we're going to grow it. I'm going to start with a very small amount of money too, because I want to keep this relatable to, you know, really everybody on this channel, right? Understanding that not everybody has a ton of money. And if you are in a situation where you have more money, cool, plug the numbers in, pat yourself on the back, okay? Nobody cares. So let's start with an initial investment of $0. Okay, I don't have any money. I'm starting from zero. I just subscribe to this channel. I want to figure this out, and I want to understand what I can do in 5 years. So every month, I'm going to do my best to invest $100, and we're going to do this over 5 years. And let's say 10% interest rate, which is the S&P 500 does 8 to 10% year over year. If you want to be conservative, you can put in 8. I'm going to do 10 here. This accounts for losing years. In a macro sense right now, in the spirit of this channel, I do think that we're coming up on a possible down cycle. I think they're going to hold the market up pre-election though, and then maybe we'll be in a down cycle after that. So in terms of macro, when I talk macro, I'm talking years. Everything that I talk about on this channel is years. So when I say near term, I'm talking like inside of a year. Long term is like 10 years. This is the macro. That's why I call this the macro. It's very different from what I talk about if you join my live streams on the day trade. Near term is like the next 4 minutes. Okay, the next few candles, right? We're looking at a double top on the 5-minute chart. We're looking at 5-minute intervals. We're looking at yearly candles here for all my traders. 10% interest rate variance. We'll keep it zero. We don't need any of that. And it's going to compound annually. Cool. Hit calculate. Boom. 5 years, $100 a month. I have $7,326. $12. Now there's two people at this point in time. One person looks at this and says, $7,000 isn't that much for us. I can't really buy a car with $7,000. I can't buy a house with $7,000, whatever. Well, to those people, I would say if I handed you $7,326.12 right now, cash in your hand, you'd be pretty ecstatic, right? You'd be stoked. It's $7,000 that you didn't have just by taking $100 a month, right? 1 month, monthly contribution, $100 over 5 years. Have that money in the bank. Now, if you did this going back 5 years, obviously, if you're younger watching this, maybe you were a kid 5 years ago. But if you're mid-30s like me, 40s, telling me you couldn't use an extra 7 bands right now, you know, it's just worth putting the effort, guys, putting in the effort and doing the work. So let's go a little bit longer. So that's 5 years. Let's do 10 years. Okay. And again, the time is going to pass. For all of you guys being impatient, if you do nothing, this number is going to be zero. Okay. I want you to keep that in mind. 20K, same thing right now. I can already feel the pushback force. Oh, wait, 10 years? Okay, cool. I hand you $19,124.91 right now. You're going to be ecstatic, right? So imagine if you started 10 years ago. Okay, we're going to do every one. We're going to do 20 years. $100 a month for 20 years, $68,000. Those of you in your 40s, 50s, do you have an extra 20K? Or sorry, not an extra 20K. Do you have an extra $68,730 laying around? And I mean extra. This is $100 a month, guys, okay, for all my midlife people. And I'm beating you up a little bit here because there's hope. There's hope. Right? Those of you who are older probably have more dispensable income to invest. So we'll go 40. We'll jump up to 40 years. Okay. $500,000. Cool. Obviously, inflation is a thing, but regardless of inflation, right? Imagine inflation goes over 40 years and you don't have $531 or $531,111. Okay. Imagine that number is zero, right? Okay. Let's crank it up a bit. Let's reset this to 5. And let's say you get ambitious. Let's say you're going to do what I do, which is $300. Actually, I think $250 a week is what I'm going to do. Cool. 5 years, I've got 18 grand. Okay, not bad. If I do 10 years, 10 years, 47,000, and we'll go all the way up to 40 years, 1.3 million. Not bad. So what if we go to 1,000 a month? So we're going to do $1,000 a month times 40 years, 5.3 million. Okay. So that for me, I'm early 30s now. So I'd be in my 70s and I'll have an extra $5 million starting with just this money here, assuming I just did this into my 70s. And I'm not starting from zero, guys. Okay. I'll say that right now. Now we can get crazy with it. Let's say that you're a late bloomer. Let's say you've only got 15 years, but you've got like $2,500 to put in. Okay. 15 years, $2,500 a month. All right. Let's say maybe you're older, you're late, you're midlife. I'm showing this, maybe you have to stop, you have to tighten up money here and there or whatever it is. Maybe do another job. You have a side hustle that's bringing in money, whatever your situation is. Come in here, do the calculator, guys. I'm showing you this to show you the possibilities. I tell you what, though, if you're a person right now and you're watching this and you feel defeated because you're saying, well, I don't have 40 years. I only got 10, right? And I've only got $500 a month that I can do. Well, guess what? 95 grand. And my question to you is the same I'd ask. If I handed you 95 grand in 5 years, you'd be ecstatic, right? It's not going to be the millions that the other people get, but guess what? You're not the other people. You're you. And would future you, could they use 95 grand? I bet they could. All right. If you're feeling that hurt right now, I bet you in 5 years, you'd be happy if I handed you $95,624.55. This is what I want to give you guys. I'm so passionate about this, for a ton of reasons. I just want to empower everyone at the best I can. Okay. For all my traders out there, if you're doing, let's say, a couple $1,000 a month, and making money is very different from investing, right? I consider day trading as a way of making money like any other business. It's not investing. Day trading and investing are completely different. Completely different. Investing is asset diversification with an expected return on your money. Trading is a skill, right? As a day trader, you're basically like a software engineer or a carpenter or somebody who does something else, and you get a return on the value of your skill, right? Or like a poker player. It's probably maybe a better thing. Nonetheless, you get money in some lump sum based off of the outcome of some speculation. Cool. So now I need to do something with that money. You could do real estate, put it in the bank at terrible rates right now. Actually, the saving rates is good right now because interest rates are up, but inflation. Or you could put it in the market. So again, this is very, very different. A lot of you guys just say, well, you can't become a billionaire in your lifetime by doing this. Sure, but let's assume you do become a billionaire doing something else. What are you going to do with your money? Put it to work, let it grow. Let's get really ambitious. Let's say you're doing $5,000 a month and you want to do, 30 years, hit that, you're making 9.8 million. There's a ton of flexibility here. If you're a 2-income household, this is within reach for you guys. I mean, this seems crazy. It's $60,000 a year. It's better than savings. If I do an interest rate of 0, like if you just save the money, you can't do an interest rate of 0. Let's do 0.001. Will that work? We'll do even lower just to make sure we get a number, right? So this is 1.8 million. And if I did the interest rate at 10, 9.8 million. So you can see the difference between just saving money and investing it. It's humongous. So we could do this over and over and over into infinity. I won't here because this video is already 20 minutes long. I'll let Shella cut it down a little bit. Who's my editor? Shout out to my editor. But yeah, tune in every week. This is going to be a weekly series. Going to be straight and to the point. I'm going to pop open, invest in some equities, talk about funds, talk about what's going on. What did Elon Musk say? What did this CEO say? What are some companies to look at? Definitely tune in. If there's some equity you want me to look at, give my thoughts on the macro. Give my thoughts. If you're asking me about trade setups, ask me in the Discord because I won't answer them here, okay? Unless it's on the macro. Okay, you want to talk about multi-year leaps and things like that in your investment account, maybe we'll talk about that. But what I really want to focus on is just long-term investing. Trading, investing, right? Buying and holding. Okay, that's it. To anyone new watching this, thanks for watching. I'm excited for this journey. Little kind of going full circle moment for me back to the roots of this channel. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be relatable. And yeah, hopefully I can help some people, which is my primary goal. Help me out by subscribing to this channel. And yeah, check out, if you want to get into day trading, check out the trading Discord. We do that. We have a 7-day free trial. And maybe I'll start up another community for this. Haven't decided yet. Just going to kind of let it grow organically, not pushing anything here. Just kind of, yeah, want to help people. So deuces.